the top games of the decade.
I can't.
Ooh.
Okay, so all of us have our own lists. We may have duplicates, but who wants to start this off?
I'll
Keep
go
in mind,
first.
it's a decade, folks. It's a
Nobody
decade.
said something, so I guess I'll go ahead and I'll jump the gun.
Go
How
for
about
it.
that?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Alright.
Bang, bang.
So I'm gonna go from 5 to 1, going from bottom to top.
Okay.
So my number 5 would have to be NBA 2K11. Now I know so many people, are not really expecting as far as like a 2K game. More than likely, just not expecting a sports game. Period. But I felt like 2K11 was like one of those games that was just like, it was just so nostalgic to me to play. And it was one of those, I don't know, playing like going from that transition from like NBA Live games for a couple years before that to 2K11 was like the pinnacle as far as sports games. And that game there really led me to keep up with the 2K franchise as a whole. And I really had a ball with that game too at that point. And just as years go by, you see how the games now, as far as 2K, it's pretty garbage. As far as it just, the gameplay is garbage. The servers are trash, and trying to put in so many microtransactions within there. So, but yeah, 2K11 was really fun back in the day. So that'd be my number 5. Number 4 would have to be Super Mario Maker. Not sure. I'm pretty sure there'll be a few people, on people's list, but I didn't really get introduced to Super Mario Maker until a couple years ago. But that game is so freaking fun, my lord! It's just the fact that you can't really go wrong with Mario games, period. But to have a Mario game that's like really endless as far as the levels and being able to play different people's creations is really fun. It's really endless as far as the time and fun that you have within that game. So that'll be my number 4. Number 3 would have to go Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now this is one of the fighting games, one of the main fighting games that I can always come back to and just play and have no problem. I don't know. It's like when it comes to fighting games for me, that it really, it's like I have like an up and down. Like when a game comes out, as far as fighting games go, I can only play it for so long and then I kind of just die out, probably because I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But I don't know what it is with fighters. It's just something that I really, can really just come back to and really play with no problem. And I've had this game since day one, and I always come back somehow, some way to play this game. And I can't really, put a finger on it, but I don't know.
It's freaking anime-esque, dude. It's
I think that's what it is too.
That's
because
probably what it is.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is because I played Tekken. Avengers is a big Tekken fan too. I played Tekken since the Tekken 4 series from the PS2 days, and I played all the Tekken games, from Tekken 4 up to this point, and even 7. I never really even dabbled in that game anymore. Shoot, it's been a while since I freaking even installed Tekken 7. Like,
and not just do the
mercy.
video.
But, yeah, I think it's really just more so the anime-esque part to it, as far as Dragon Ball FighterZ and the 2D fighting mechanisms within that. It really makes me come back into that realm. So that's my number 3. Number 2 is The Last of Us. Now, Flash. You already know how lit this game is. You already know how lit it is. It's, I don't know, it's one of those experiences, dog. You really have to experience it, especially now. We have The Last of Us 2 coming out May 29th, if I'm not mistaken. 27th, 29th, one of those. But it's one of those experiences that's just really dope. It's really just, it's one of those experiences, that's like, just put you at a loss for words, pretty much. But yeah, be sure to check out The Last of Us if you haven't already. It's like $20 now for PS4. So be sure to check that out. And my number 1 would have to be Persona 5. Persona freaking 5. I didn't know what to expect when I came in with this game. I remember the homie Ali G, shout out to him. I remember talking to him a little bit about it. And he was just like, it might be a cool game. I'm not sure how you do it with like long games, because it is really a long game. But it kind of, depending on that type of aspect, it'll make or break the experiences for you. And so I really, took my time with it and gave it a shot. I really freaking love that game, dude. I really love that game, and how the story developed and how the ending was. Dog. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for Persona 5 Royal and see what's gonna be panning about that. But
I like
yeah, Persona 5 is freaking lit, dude. Oh my gosh, you cannot shoot. You gotta cop that too. That's pretty cheap too. I think it's like $20 on PS4 also. Two great games as far as Last of Us and Persona 5. But yeah, those are my top 5. 5 NBA 2K11, 4 Super Mario Maker, 3 Dragon Ball Fighters, 2 The Last of Us, and number 1 Persona 5.
I'm gonna say my list is like interesting, but also like very highly played games. So coming at number 5 is Super Mario Odyssey. I actually really enjoyed Odyssey. It was one of the first games that I actually played on the Switch. It played flawlessly. I think the story was great. It was a little short. I mean, either that or I just grinded it super quick, but I think it's a little short. But I really loved Odyssey. I think it was a lot of fun, and I mean, it's Mario. You can't go wrong. I mean, I was kind of back and forth between Mario Maker and Odyssey, but to be honest, as a game, Odyssey was like that game. So number 4 is Batman Arkham Asylum. So I think the Batman Arkham games are I don't want to say masterpiece, but I think they are really, really, really good. And I love Arkham Asylum and Arkham City equally. I think they're fantastic games. But Batman is that go-to superhero game without a doubt, apart from Spider-Man. But that brings me to my next one, which is Red Dead Redemption 2. So Red Dead Redemption 2, the multiplayer kind of flopped, which is what a lot of people were excited for. But the story mode was absolutely great. The acting, the gameplay, everything about the story mode and single player was phenomenal in Red Dead Redemption 2. And in my opinion, I hold it above Red Dead Redemption 1, which was originally going to take that spot. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is absolutely amazing. So the next one coming up on, what is that? That's my number 2 spot. And it will be The Last of Us. So me and CD share a Last of Us title.
Okay.
The Last of Us was the first game that I ever stood up and clapped for when I finished it. It was the first game that when I finished it, I was emotionally invested and satisfied.
Definitely one of those games, yeah.
It was great. In Last of Us 2, I have so much faith that it's going to at least be as good. So
for sure,
I'm very excited for that. People can say what they want about my number 1. I'm going to be real with you. People are going to say, well, it came out in 2009. Well, it came out on like forums and stuff like that on 2009. It came out around 2010, 2011 as an official release, and that's Minecraft. I think Minecraft is such a huge game in the industry. I think Minecraft changed a lot of how the gaming works and what people expect with their games. And I put countless and countless hours on Minecraft. It was my favorite game when I got it. I was obsessed. So Minecraft, without a doubt, my number 1.
You made me play Minecraft.
Minecraft is lit. I did. I made Vince play.
Playing Minecraft with this dude back in the storm days.
I can't wait to hear your number 1 match. It's probably gonna be Roblox.
What do you mean? Vince's number 1 is gonna be a hentai game.
Stop. All right, so let's get it there. Let's give you the facts. Since you said that, you tempted me now. Okay, we're gonna go. Let's start with our number 5. Honestly, I would have put this higher on the list, but the reason why, this was even longer than that. Like I know I kind of broke the rules with my number 5, but whatever. Final Fantasy VII, dude. Like, this game is still, this was old as hell, way back when I was in high school, sharing my age here. And this game is still talked about and still praised, and not only that, next year, we're getting a remake for the game. Now, it kind of sucks that it's not going to span the entire, it's like the way they're going about it is a bit weird, but it's still very exciting And I just feel that it has to be put on that list just because of the fact that the game still stands, the test of time. I know a lot of people say that the game is like, overly hyped and all of that, but me living in the era when that game first came out is a legend. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna go with number 4. My number 4 is going to go with God of War PlayStation 4.
I have yet to play that.
That you must. As a matter of fact, I've been jumping around and I'm deciding to do a playthrough of that game. Amazing game. I had no idea what they was going to do because the previous installments of God of War was full of a lot of machismo, cojones, blood, tizzles, and all that good stuff. And so you was wondering, it got kind of old by the time you got the God of War 3 because the formula was still more the same. It was just more guts and gore and outlandish kills and stuff like that. And so how can you top all of that, including breasts all over the place? Well, they topped it. They literally topped it. Look, God of War. Look, I know I was gonna say something about that, but look, God of War, the PlayStation 4, they literally took this game and turned it on its head because this game did extremely well without all the need for machismo and breasts and whatever else. They didn't need all of that. It was actually more of a cleaner experience. They didn't have to rely on a bunch of sexual gimmicks. They didn't have to go with over-the-top everything that a man likes. And the game did extremely well. And it's like God of War, I had to put that on that list. It was an amazing experience. I didn't even finish that game yet, but that's why I played through. So let's go ahead and jump over to my 3. My number 3. I'm going to have to give it up to Super Mario Galaxy. Yes, okay. Super Mario Galaxy. I wanted to go with another and even older one than that, but I felt like Galaxy would be a better choice for me just because I want to piggyback off of what Flash was saying. Like when Flash was saying the goodness of Odyssey, and Odyssey was an amazing game. And I feel like a fair amount of the things that was incorporated in Odyssey kind of low-key, a little bit, was derived from Galaxy. And people to this day still want to see a new Super Mario Galaxy game, which I would be super hype about because it's like one of those games that once again stands the test of time. It's one of those old ass games that streamers could still play and people would still want to watch it. It's insane. That's why I made Super Mario Galaxy number 3. Now my number 2 is I'm piggybacking off a CD on this one. Persona 5, the smexiest game on the planet. I'm just saying that. I don't think there's any game out there right now that has that much style, that much flair, that much charisma, dude.
And that much hours, man.
That too. Yeah. That too, dude. No lie. Honestly, I was going to say number 2 for the Persona series as a whole, but I might as well just say Persona 5 because literally Persona 5 topped every single Persona game that came before it. And those games was extremely good in their own right. It's just 5 just had something special. It was, oh God. I'm still playing this game to this day and I'm not even close to the end yet, but I'm still loving it.
I'm just waiting for you to get towards the end. I need to see your reaction, dog.
That's what I want. That's what I want. I got to get there. So I'm still working on that. So here comes my number 1. Which is not Roblox. Which is not Roblox.
I can't wait till it be.
So my number one, now Dino, he probably already knows what, but I'm gonna have to give it to Mario Maker.
Okay.
Mario Maker was such a refreshing and shocking experience for me because, like, I grew up back when Nintendo, was just the NES, and I grew up off of Super Mario 3, the first Super Mario game. Not much of 2 because I couldn't find it anywhere. I rented 2, but 2 was just like stinking hard back when I was a kid. And like to relive all of that and to see people literally let their imagination I can't even talk right now, run wild and and create all of these different levels that you've never seen before. The creativity is just endless. I mean, like, if there wasn't a Mario Maker 2, I bet your bottom dollar people would have still been making content with Mario Maker 1.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah.
We've all been doing that.
Yeah. And Mario Maker 2, you wouldn't have, I didn't think that, like, Mario Maker 2 would really, like, would be extremely different from the first one, but it is. Like, they took speedrun levels to a whole nother level. Like, real talk, I love speedruns to death, especially how creative and crazy people have been getting with the speedruns, among other things as well, with the inclusion of a power-up that is more than just a reskin. Freaking Link, bro. I mean, I'm not huge on Zelda, but like, for them to do that, and Link has all those different abilities, was so freaking amazing. So I gotta hand it to Nintendo on Mario Maker. That's a game that always stands the test.
Most definitely. Who's next?
Fez.
Okay, I'll go. All right. Well, basically, starting off, let's make it short and brief with this. COD Ghosts, all right, because I was broke, poor, and wanted for cheap. All right. That's the only reason I'm saying this, because it was a good time saver back when I was broke. So at night, that type of deal. I like the whole. I mean, everyone likes that type of first-person shooter that they didn't hack into yet, because that's when it came out. You weren't able to hack into the PS3s. So the game was actually stable, but now it's actual dog shit, so I won't play it. But it was a good game. There was that. All right. We got number 4. All right. Lego Batman 2. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Lego games are fire.
All right.
I'm saying.
I had to sit here and I had to like literally go through, because you guys had to make me think, because I everything I own is like before like 2000 around, and I don't own all that much stuff that's fairly new. So I went off to games that I actually thought were actually fun for me to play. Lego Batman 2 straight up was, because that overworld was pretty dope. You had to find everything. You had to do all this extra stuff, and there was a lot to do. And I mean, hey, I was playing it with my kids, so it was a pretty decent time. You know what I'm saying, to say the least. I mean, I like how they pretty much added that, because the first Lego Batman didn't have that shit where you can just go around like GTA and just start beating everybody up you wanted to see in a Lego game.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right, number 3, South Park: Stick of Truth, because nobody, all right, even their right mind would make an RPG into a fucking South Park game, but they did it. Okay.
They did a good job at that too.
It was a good one too. I don't even blame you.
Yeah, it was actually really good. I liked the story of how stupid it was. All right, I liked when they said you have to find Jesus and he was in the church. They weren't lying.
Oh my god.
They weren't lying. You want to find Jesus? He's in the church. We had to find him, and we found him. All right. I mean, it was just all in all different game, and you can do it with different characters. I know other people would say Fractured But Whole would be, like the predecessor of it. It'd be so good. You know what I mean? That's probably
The title alone deserves a spot.
Yeah, but I mean, Stick of Truth is kind of where it started, and that's kind of like where that was the foundation. So that's where I like that shit. All right, number 2. All right, A Hat in Time. Okay.
A Hat in Time.
And if you guys don't know what A Hat in Time is, all right, it got swept under the rug when Mario Odyssey came out. Right?
Yep, I just seeded it.
Yeah, it literally got yeeted under the rug, yeeted somewhere through the rug, through the wall. All right, but no one. Yeah, if you guys actually play that game, I spent $17 on it because my daughter wanted it. You know what I'm saying? And I went to go ahead and play it, and it has some of the best physics I've ever seen for a game that you can just double jump in place, or ride a scooter, or just you put on all these different hats and they give you different, powers and stuff like that. And I think it's a really, really good game for, it coming out, just a couple of years ago when Odyssey came out. I mean, it was a really good game. Like my kids 100%ed it. I even helped out with that aspect of it, But it was a really good game. And number 1, I mean, everyone knows Mario Maker.
It is.
All right. The reason why I'm saying number 1 on Mario Maker is because if it wasn't for the Mario Maker community, me being around that aspect in general, I wouldn't even be sitting here right now talking with y'all today. I wouldn't even have met Venge. Seriously, straight up, I wouldn't even, like, straight up. Like,
don't get us crying, bro. Dang, come on now.
Yo, the feels.
You already made me.
I ain't making you cry right now. I ain't trying to do all that, but I'm just saying, like, it's just a chain reaction. I think the Mario Maker brought together a lot of people, a lot of positive people. All right, you know what I'm saying? And we'll get to the negative in the personal changes part of the segment, but
oh heck yeah!
All right, but
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, everybody had pretty much met through some form of communication between each other, and look at us.
Yeah. Look at us now, baby.
Yeah, but I'm saying Mario.
I met Dino through anime. Ew.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
I met everybody through anime.
Yeah,
no,
pain.
But Mario Maker in general, just as a game, all right, some of the best physics that, like, normally I'm an old school gamer, and I've never really done like half the Kaizo stuff that game makes you do. Okay, and I learned all of that with little to no effort, like doing a midair. Okay, I can proudly say that I can do a midair in Mario Maker without sitting here crying about it. You feel me? all I gotta do is just go in there and make a play and do it, and it's easy. Like, and I'm telling you, I practiced on a level that straight up was a midair into a spike, like a 1 frame spike little gap just to hit the goal. And I'm like, man, it's one of those things where you gotta, if you're gonna get it, you better get it right. But I'm just saying that whole game introduced a whole. Oh man,
It make you go like Kratos.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you the reason why I like it the most. I'll say, like, Super. All right, Super Patuka. Shout out to him. All right, he makes some of the best levels. Right, I somehow soft lock myself on his level. All right, he had a key point level, my guy. All right, I jump over the goal. All right, I go check out his little castle, the aesthetic for it, and I just jump up. And I land on a cloud that locks me in.
Dang.
And after I got every single one of his key coins and did all his fuck ass rooms, all right? And pretty much had to do it again just to prove to myself that I could do it. So I did it a second time, dude. I was all upset. I was like, did I just key death? I was like, I gotta do it all over again. But that's just the fun part about Mario Maker back then. But now that, like, key death's, like, if you get key death in a level, I'd say like 85% of the time the level creator will definitely give you that key back. You know what I mean? But now, I mean, it's good now in the Mario Maker community for key deaths. But yeah, there's my top 5. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, and you made me think, and I don't like to think.
Well,
It's,
you beat
it's Dino's turn.
Those are good though. We'll rock with it for sure.
yes.
Dino, you
Alrighty.
oh my guy.
Well, my top for everything. Street Fighter. No, I'm just joking.
Oh my god. Oh my.
No, yeah, I'm sure it is.
No, I was about
It's in there
to.
somewhere.
This motherfucker gonna say
It's
Street
in
Fighter
there.
5?
It's in
No,
there somewhere.
I was about to
It's
slap
in
you
there.
through the damn Discord,
It's
bro.
in there.
absolutely not.
Oh my
It's
god.
there.
So my
No, he's
list is
lying.
actually different, but I'm gonna give honorable mention. I only do this because my list is weird, and you guys will see here in a
Dang
bit.
it.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is my honorable mention,
Oh
Because-
shit!
just
about that.
because of the impact the Smash community has, and of course that it's a brand new game that really got people back into it, and new people too. Like
Yeah.
there's so many new people that came into the game as well because they're like, oh my, like so many people are hyping up Smash, and I know a friend of mine played Smash before, and here's Ultimate on the Switch, and this and that. So Super Smash Bros. Ultimate had to be an honorable mention.
Hearts too.
But for real, Smash Ultimate, despite all the rages and stuff,
Ugh.
pretty good game.
Yeah.
Alrighty, number 5. Here's my number 5, Super Mario Maker. Obviously, I have it in the top 5 due to its longevity. It was one of the games that kept people the most. And what I mean by that is the community, out of all the games I've seen, Super Mario Maker had the biggest longevity out of everyone. In my opinion, Super Mario Maker 1 was that type of thing. And it kept it going until the Super Mario Maker 2 release. And this is why my list is weird. I actually have Super Mario Maker 2 as my number 1. But I'll get into that here why in a bit. My number 4 is Super Mario Odyssey. Now, the reason why Super Mario Odyssey was basically my top 5 was mainly that it gave me the Mario 64 vibes. I actually loved the way that they approached Odyssey with this new kick to it, but also the nostalgia that comes from 64, which I thought was insane because the moment I played Odyssey, I was like, wow, this really reminds me of 64. It's huge. It just gave me that nostalgia factor. So that was one of the things that really just kept going with me when
Was
it
it the
came to that
mechanics?
game.
Was it the mechanics?
For Odyssey,
Yeah. Was it
I mean, kind of.
low-key? Okay.
Yeah, because when you think about it, when you compare 64 and that, I mean, they both use different controllers and stuff, which is kind of hard to compare unless you have an N64 controller for the Switch. But honestly, I mean, either or, the gameplay did give me that reminiscence, and it was like I think they even said that Mario 64 was like the inspiration that they used to create Odyssey.
Right.
So
Oh, okay.
I mean, Odyssey definitely had to be a top 5 for sure. Number 3. Now this was really tough because I have a number 2 and a number 3. This is gonna be very controversial, but I'll kind of explain why because this is different for me and just me as a person. I put Persona 5 as number 3. Obviously, as everyone else said, the game is great. There's endless amount of content. I think it's 95 hours of full content, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna have 95 hours to complete it.
Facts.
It's gonna take you much longer. It's just that there is 95 hours of content. That just shows you how long Persona 5 is. It's definitely one of the best RPGs in this decade. Period. No question. I don't think any RPG can compare. Heck, I don't even think any RPG can compare in the 2000s in general. Because
That's
Persona
true.
5 just offered so much.
It did.
It did, yeah. Infinite.
Yeah, like there was just so much in Persona 5 that you could love the music. Probably some of the best music. The music has definitely
Don't get me
has-
started.
Yes, you can't go wrong with the music. You can't go wrong with the length of the game. You can't go wrong with the story. There was just so much to it that Persona 5 is just definitely one of the best RPGs of 2000. I would say it could even be in the top 3 for me, and comparing it to every RPG in the world. It's just a great game. So that was definitely my top 3rd for that one. Number 2, this one's gonna be different. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel.
Oh, I knew that game was in there
I'm
somewhere.
surprised, honestly.
The
I'm honestly
reason why I
surprised.
put this one higher is because obviously Crash Team Racing was something I grew up with as a kid and stuff. So it was one of those old school games that I really loved. And Nitro Fueled was literally everything I was asking for.
Yeah.
It has customizables, character selection, old and new play styles combined with a story mode that is still the same, and you can adjust the leveling system. There's easy ways for boosting. I mean, the character selection literally is like 4 times more. You can play online with people, which was never a thing before. You know, you have the shortcuts, you have strategy in this game. Basically using the old vibe, connecting with the new one, and creating it to be something fantastic. I love Mario Kart, don't get me wrong, but Nitro Fueled makes Mario Kart look like shit. And I'm honest when I say that. If you guys have not picked up this game, do it. It's actually one of the best racing games you will ever play.
The
So
only
is
reason
it
why
less
I'm like,
annoying than Mario Kart?
Well, the items, obviously. I mean,
I was gonna get to that too.
always
Yeah.
have that craziness with items and stuff, but it's really fun. I mean, I speedrun that game as well. So I speedrun Mario World, but I also speedrun Crash Team Racing, both the old and the new one. And honestly, with the new one, I feel like I get more. I don't know. I feel like I can see the open spots here and there quicker than I did with the old one, which was really cool. So when I went back to the old version, I was actually able to pick up some new skills that I learned from the new version, which is really cool. So I mean, Crash Team Racing in general just has much more detail, I would say, than Mario Kart in terms of what you need to do. And I think it's very easy to learn if you put hours into it as well. So it's a really fun game. So what's my number 1?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, what was my number 5?
Super Mario Maker.
So what's my number 1?
Mario
Oh
Maker
my
2.
God,
Mario
this
Maker
man
2.
went-
Mario Maker 2.
Remix, boy.
The
Hit 'em with
remix
the
is
remix.
number 1. Now, the reason why was obviously the longevity, and we all knew that Mario Maker was going to be this huge thing that everyone would just continually play because there's endless levels. Now imagine endless levels with more features, more things.
Yeah.
They made it even better. So obviously you have to pick Mario Maker in general because everyone, literally almost everyone had it as the number 1.
Okay.
Almost everyone. Who didn't
I
have
see.
it as one here?
I didn't have Mario Maker on my list at all. I
Okay.
don't think.
Shame.
Okay. Because I swear, I was like, wait, everyone have it as number 1? Obviously, though, Maker, for real, the entire thing, Maker 2, Maker 1, whatever, it was probably one of the best games that had longevity and community and a lot of these other important things. So definitely Mario Maker 2. There's nothing more you can say about it. I mean, all the features that come with it, you know, playing online, endless levels, you know, you can create your own level the way that you want it and that you want other people to play it too, which is awesome. Just continually sharing and, you know, being able to give feedback as well with stars, and you know how that goes. But Mario Maker 2 for sure, number 1. But what's my super number 1?
Super number 1.
Oh my god.
This man lied.
Come on, man.
He said super number 1.
I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
Oh my god, this man said
Jesus.
super number 1. Wait, that's count from freaking Sesame Street.
Hold on. I gotta say this real quick. While it's on my mind,
I love it.
I got 2 very honorable mentions. So my top 5 is what I think to be my favorite, or the best games that I played, in my opinion, that I loved. But I have 2 more that I'd like to mention. One would be Spider-Man PS4 by Insomniac.
Oh yes.
So
Okay.
both these.
I can vibe with
Both
that.
of these titles are actually from Insomniac. I love Insomniac. Insomniac's actually my favorite game developer. So Spider-Man PS4 was a masterpiece, coming from somebody who grew up playing the original Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2. I fell in love with this game instantly. I think it had a lot of the good vibes that came from both of those 2 games, plus a lot of new stuff that made it very enjoyable. Waiting on a sequel because it ended on a cliffhanger. Anyway, And my second honorable mention, I keep saying mention is, and a lot of people are probably gonna be like, what? Is Ratchet and Clank, the remake that they released in 2016. So for those of you that don't know me, Ratchet and Clank is my favorite game series of all time, alongside of Sly Cooper on the PlayStation 2. And Ratchet and Clank has a special place in my heart, and I would literally play shit on a platter if Insomniac put Ratchet and Clank on it. Like, literally, Ratchet and Clank is my bread and butter. And when they released that game, I think it was fantastic. I think everything about it was just great. It actually made me like it a little bit more than the first one, apart from having nostalgia playing the first one. So yeah, I love those two games with a passion. I think they're great. I think they're overlooked too.
Since we're doing honorable mentions now, Dino started the wave. I'm gonna go ahead and put my two in. Now, one of them mentioned, Flash just mentioned, would have to be Spider-Man 4, or Spider-Man PS4, excuse me. Just playing the original games back in the PS2 days and getting that nostalgia from that, and playing that a couple years ago. When did that come out exactly? Came out like this year? I don't know, but that I don't know. It just made me I don't know, like going into that game from the jump, as far as like the web slinging. And from then on out, and going to the story mode and all that stuff, it's been really fun. It really brought out, the nostalgic vibes of that. From playing the original Spider-Man games for PS2, for like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. So that's definitely one of my honorable mentions. And the other one would have to be Super Mario Odyssey. Now those are the main two, as far as Spider-Man PS4 and Super Mario Odyssey. Those are the main two that are like juggling. As far as that being a part of my top 5 list, so it would be a good list, to have it in my honorable mentions. But yeah, I played a little bit of Mario 64 back in the good old days to remember how it was, how it felt like to play. But Super Mario Odyssey really does bring back those vibes of Nintendo's Mario 64, excuse me. And I mean, that's all I have to say with that. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Super Mario Odyssey and Spider-Man's PS4.
Okay.
I pretty much I'll throw in an honorable mention, because if you want to talk about nostalgia, all right, Horizon Chase Turbo, all right, for PS4. It was free on, I guess, like one of the months before I lost my my plus, I guess. But it pretty much is just like Top Gear, all right, for the Super Nintendo. Okay. If anybody understands those games, it's one of those you go left and right, and there's cars in front of you, that type of deal. But this actually was pretty good. It pretty much made the cars come to life, and I think that right there was just so nostalgic. Hearing the music, even down to some of the music in that game, kind of just brought me back, because it was so lit.
Yeah.
So lit. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Got another one, or was that like?
That's pretty much it. Like, that's my honorable mention on it.
I can hear
All
the
right.
triggered kids that nobody's mentioning Fortnite.
Yeah, well, too bad.
Fortnite's
Fortnite's just
gone. We
No,
leaving in
like-
2019.
yeah, that game is just gonna live on in the hearts of all those thirsty kids that want to become MLG Pro. But yeah, I do got an honorable mention.
This man.
I got an honorable mention. Nah, it's not Roblox.
Roblox.
Not Roblox. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Jailbreak.
No, it's not jailbreak.
Yeah,
But
open up.
I would tell you this. No one said Metal Gear. No one said Metal Gear, especially Metal Gear. I would go as far as just saying Metal Gear, period. Such a legendary franchise. Man, I would never forget the legend that was like Metal Gear. Solid. I even remember when the PlayStation 3, or no, it was the PlayStation 2 era, and they had Metal Gear Sons of Liberty. Oh my God. I nearly died, and it was so good. And it's like Metal Gear. Oh man, I just wish that we would have got more of that. I actually wound up picking up Phantom Pain. I don't know what was wrong with me. I didn't try it out. I think I was just annoyed because I was getting lost again. Because you know I'm bad. I'm like Zoro. I get lost all the time. So I kind of just like rage quit it because I was getting lost so bad. And then my next honorable mention, just one of those. Oh god, like. What the heck was that? It was man. It's hard for me to turn away from that game, but because that game was too far back though. But I'm trying not to break the rules here.
Man,
Say it. Go ahead, say it. Damn it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Say
Do it.
shit
Fine.
right now.
Fine, I will. I will. It's no, it ain't Roblox.
Yeah, it is. You got
Oh
it.
my God.
He wants to say it so bad. He wants to say it so bad.
Streets
Go ahead and
of
say it.
Rage, no. Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage, my friend. Oh my god. That's like the beat 'em up of my childhood. I played that game more than any. Streets of and I'm still fiending for some info on Streets of Rage 4. It's like we're not getting crap on that game yet. We only get little titty. Oh, daggum, that did not come out right.
No, a titty bit. You get a little. Is
Man,
Vince
they just wilding tonight.
is Vince discriminating against little titties?
Where's the family?
I don't know. I don't know.
That family
This is
friendly
not
badge.
here.
Like, you know what? Kingler stole it. That's what happened.
No, man.
Kingler stole it.
Vince is a savage.
It's like,
I'm saying.
Kingler stole it.
yeah, he
Shout out to
stole it,
Kingler.
man.
Shout out to
He
King.
stole it. Now you got to give it
Oh,
back
my
by tomorrow.
Oh, my. Yo, dead ass. So, even though this is coming out next year, the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is gonna beat all this shit. I'm sorry.
Yo, are
Oh,
you serious?
Yes, I'm sorry. That's gonna be. Have you not seen that CD?
No.
Dude, it's
Oh my God.
every Star Wars movie into one. They're doing it's called Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga,
Oh my
and
freaking
they got
God.
a trailer out for it, and it's coming out like early 2020, and the shit looks flames, and it's gonna beat all these
Yo!
games. I'm sorry,
I'm definitely playing that.
dude. I'm streaming the whole thing.
Yes, I'm
Is
streaming.
that right?
Dude,
Yeah,
Lego
no,
Star
just to-
Wars is
just-
unbelievable.
Just from the nostalgia of playing Lego Star Wars back in 2005. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to play that again. Dude, I'm so excited for that now.
They just released a new trailer like 3 days ago. But anyway, yeah,
I gotta
it's
watch
gonna-
that.
It's gonna be fire.
watch that.
It's gonna be fire. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, I'm very surprised that nobody mentioned GTA 5
Oh, Steffi did.
Oh,
because
she did?
Yeah,
because
she
like
mentioned it.
GTA 5 could also be just as far up as the longevity as Mario Maker. If you
That is
like,
true.
like
That is true.
and
and all that
GTA
multiplayer
5 with how large it is too is one of the most impressive games I've ever seen. It's not one of my favorites. It's not on my list, so don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be one of those guys, but I can acknowledge the fact that it's a fucking impressive game. Like it
It's
is,
definitely-
it's big time.
Yeah,
It's
you can
super
definitely
fun.
acknowledge that game as far as being longevity wise, but for some reason I always looked at GTA 5 as one of those games as where it's just like I just go mess around and just just
Yeah.
raise havoc. So
Really?
I never
Right.
really gave it a consideration, but doing my research and with being in on so many people's lists, it really makes sense as to why it's up there in the ranks because of longevity wise. So I definitely give credit to that. But as far as personally, not too much.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they pretty much, incorporated the 3D aspect even in 4. You remember how 4 when it came out,
Yeah.
like that kind of introduced it all, and they pretty much just took it broader and broader. And yeah, it's been lasting for years, man. What, the last like 7, 8 years, something like that. It's just been up, like up on the up. And I mean, some of the community of it is pretty good. I mean, they make their plays. I can't hate on the game because the game actually does bring back that natural nostalgia of like they do throw those tidbits of like, oh yeah, there's some San Andreas or something that went on Vice City or something like that. You know, like Easter eggs.